Thank you, Simon. Last month we devoted an entire program to a missing aircraft, ZK-EBU, a charter flight that disappeared on the South Island's west coast in 1978. There were 7 people on board, all lost. And in the 37 years since, there has never been an official search for them. Imagine that, your loved ones simply disappear. 7 people never found. Over the weekend, though, relatives travelled to join searches exploring an area near Haast, where the plane could be resting. It's thought Mike Wesley-Smith and cameraman Chris Jones joined them.
A dawn's first glimpse. The beginnings of a day that for the loved ones of those on board ZK-EBU is another chapter in a long journey. They've each come here to Haast to look. A road to somewhere or a road to nowhere. They won't know until they travel down it. But they're not alone. Around 40 volunteers have offered their help.
My parents have been missing for 36 years, and today is the first search for them, for me.
Nikki and Cole Stewart are daughters of Alex and Rose, who were passengers on the plane.
The dog!
They're also here on behalf of siblings Sharon and Philip. Nikki's son Hamish was also there.
Even if we don't find them today, to actually be here where they may have been will feel quite special.
I'm carrying this photo with me today just so that I can remember my brother.
This is Barbara Morrison. Her and brother Peter Morrison were siblings of Edward, the pilot of ZK-EBU. The aircraft that disappeared on a scenic charter flight over Milford Sound in 1978. All the relatives are here today to explore the theory that the plane is resting near the Moraki River.
I don't think the plane went back up the river. I actually think he flew possibly into the hills up there.
It's an idea put forward by this man, investigator Gavin Grimmer, who has based his beliefs on a possible sighting of the aircraft in this area on the day it disappeared.
Quickly round the group.
The operation is being led by Search and Rescue Coordinator Jono Hattrell.
You might just pick up on a very small piece of fuselage.
There are many faces of those impacted by this tragedy to be seen here. Amongst them is Warren Hogg, whose brother David was another passenger. What does today mean for you?
Hopefully closure, but that's the most we'd hope for, but just to do something. At least, I could say something, done something.
David was friends with David Stewart, who was also on board with his parents Pete and Elizabeth. They are survived today by daughter Barbara and son Ken.
I live in hope, because at the end of the day, we haven't got closure.
Ken couldn't join the search because he's recovering from a knee replacement.
If you had a message for the searchers, what would that be?
Get stuck in.
And the searchers would have to get stuck in because they were confronted with incredibly dense bush, what the locals call tiger country. We joined teams searching some of the roughest terrain.
We've got 5 teams. Each team's responsible for a section which is 40 metres wide and approximately 300 metres long. That's your area.
You only had to trudge in a few metres to realise how difficult this task would be.
There could be aircraft parts hanging in a tree like that.
For the morning, we accompanied search volunteer Nathan Mocklin.
There's some such great ground over there that would be great searching, but we've got to stick to our path. We can only do so much.
37 years of exposure to the elements means any wreckage is likely to be covered in moss and foliage. Using grid lines, the teams clambered, climbed and crashed all day.
We've just moved across and we're about to head down.
After hours of sweat, cuts and bruises, it was time to return to base before it got dark. The day's end as spectacular as its beginning. Sunday morning brought lashing rain and wind, sadly ending any hope of further searching this weekend. For the families, seeing this wilderness up close left them with a common realisation.
We need some more technological equipment to be able to tap metal so that we can actually know where to go and search.
The relatives didn't see this as a wasted trip, as it allowed them to make new connections.
Gavin, do you want milk in your coffee?
Yes, please, one.
And revitalise old ones.
I think being able to share this journey with the other families has been really good.
Yes, very grateful. And I'm pleased I got to be a part of it.
I think it's been a wonderful opportunity to come and see where Mum and Dad might be, to meet with some really lovely people.
Lovely people like Gavin, the Westland Venturers Club, and all the rest of those who gave up their time to look for people they'd never met.
It's very warming to know that people just want to help and want to find the plane.
Anyone who has lost a loved one to tragedy will know the incredibly difficult road each of these relatives have walked. This weekend, they walked this latest stretch together. As always, hope burns bright. It never really goes out and is carried on by younger generations like Nikki's son, Hamish.
When you're hunting or whatnot, or jet boating up a river, you've got one eye peeled on the, saying, my grandparents could be here, you just want to find them. And I'm definitely going to try everything I can to find them.
7 people, 37 years. Mike Wesley-Smith, lovely report edited by Sarah Rowan. Look at these coming up on the program. We asked Cheryl, these are actually from across the road, the